Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today we are going to go through extremely powerful deck. It's more powerful than I actually expected it to be, and it might not seem at the first glance because we are extremely top heavy with 4 A-Alrund Epiphany, 4 Seagate Restoration, which of course serves as a land as well, and the main hero of this deck, Discover the Formula, so a new 6 drop, it's an instant that makes you seek 3 non-land cards, and then reduces cost of all cards in your hand by 1. And it's always colorless mana, so that comes into play very often. And anyway, this card is busted, and already you probably saw it or heard about it. So the idea behind this deck is that we want to discount some key cards like Discover the Formula, Seagate Restoration, and A-Alrund Epiphany, so our big main mini threats, but we don't want to use them once because it sucks. Like, it's not a huge deal. For example, when you use Geistchanneler, this reduces cost by 2 when it enters the battlefield, and then play something, it's net 0, so you didn't really gain anything. However, we have Flood of Recollection, so this returns instant or sorcery cards from the graveyard to your hand, only for 2 mana. So suddenly, if you discount it, for example, 2 times and it costs 2 mana, then you can play this together with this for 4 mana and suddenly have additional cost reduction. And from there you are going like completely crazy with power because you can chain those abilities one after another. We have also Lier, so after you like unload everything at the enemy, you can just cast everything again. So in this situation, after Flood of Recollection, you can cast the Discover of the Formula again. So usually Lier is discounted as well at this point, but you can just start chaining spell one after another, and it really stacks up because this gives you tempo and cards, and the other cards give you like some tempo, some power and cards, mostly Seagate Restoration, which is a huge deal. If you can manage to discount it twice by Geistchanneler, it's 3 mana, draw like 5 or 6 cards, and if you get it back from the graveyard, you can cast it and also answer the threats from the enemy, which usually isn't the case with this card. So you can for 3-4 mana just get a lot of cards and then start killing enemy one by one, because we have things like Heartless Act, Fading Hope, Divide by Zero, and Baleful Mastery. So this package pretty much makes sure that we survive until we can play all the big cards, and even the sweeper. Crux of Fate can be Shadow Verdict, honestly, but I prefer something that gets rid of the full board, whatever it happens, and for exile we have Baleful Mastery, and this card is surprisingly good in this deck. It really finds a home here, I think, because it can get discounted all the way to 1 for the full cost, and 1 mana exile target creature is amazing. And you will find that in this deck you never have enough mana. It always wants more. So if you can cast it even for student cost for 1 mana most of the time, because you already played the Discover the Formula, enemy drawing 1 card really doesn't matter. We outscale with this deck nearly every other deck if they let us to play in peace. And at the point when we have like unlimited power, you can finish the game like completely from the start, because you have cheap A-Alrund Epiphany most of the time, then you pair it with like more draws, more everything, and then you remove enemy board and start attacking them. And usually you can chain at some point 1 very cheap Epiphany with some other cards that adds to the board, for example Mascots, because we have a lot of Divide by Zero. So if this gets discounted to 5, and A-Alrund Epiphany to, let's say, also 5, we have 10 mana in this deck very easily. So we can just put both of them and then start seeking, for example, using Silundi Vision next Epiphanies, even without the Ravens, that's fine. And suddenly we can make a one turn kill effectively for the enemy. So if they tapped out or attacked, it doesn't matter. And if they didn't, we can still try to clear the board one side. And usually that's what we do. So Jace, if you watch the video, you will see why Jace is here. And on the baseline, it's a very good Planewalker because it draws you a card for like every turn, and it costs only 4 mana. So we have good mana base here, so it isn't the issue. So the fact that it's also a huge win condition, because at some point we might not really be able to kill the enemy, especially if they force us to use the Epiphanies defensively and somehow they mill Lier or kill it, like something like that, or maybe fort size it. So usually you want some backup plan just to win the game, and Jace really makes this that's a good synergy with the deck, because it draws cards every turn. So you can use A-Alrund Epiphany also to redraw, and suddenly A-Alrund Epiphany becomes good on its own, even without the Ravens. So a lot of synergies in this deck. And yeah, that's the baseline. We also have Horror of the Storm Giants, but for some reason it doesn't come very often into the play, because it's so extremely expensive. Like, man, we play 2 mana, draw 3 cards, not 7 mana, do something. It's just a non-alchemy card. So, but seriously, this deck is amazing and feels amazing, and if the enemy thinks he can outscale you, he's wrong. You can outscale nearly everything. So give it a try, and I'm pretty sure you will have a great time, and it's also a very fun deck to play. And the added layer of this deck is that it really depends on how good you are in playing it. You have so many decisions, so many recovering the cards. It's all up to you which direction you want to go. Do you want to draw more cards with the Discover the Formula, or maybe you will prefer a sweeper and hope that you will top deck some? It's all up to you. And I think it makes for a very interesting place. You can even bounce your own Geistchanneler with Fading Hope to double discount something, and you can hope that in the future, for the long term of the game, it will pay out, because you can get it from the graveyard, for example. Those are the plays that this deck can make, and all add to really cool experience, I think. So if you have the cards, go for it. And you don't have to craft the Crux of Fate. You probably don't want to. So anyway, thank you for watching, and enjoy the games. I really like those, and I think you will like them too. So thank you, and enjoy the videos. Whoa, if you like anti-creature draws, that's the one you got excited about. And I got excited about a bit. I won't really lie. So let's see what our companion thinks about it. Right, thank you, folks. I would go for Ritual, I think, or Fading Hope. Okay, interesting choice. So they have Croxa, probably, or they prepare for Croxa, which isn't great. You know what? We are a mean gamer. If enemy really cared for it so much, I will just show him domination that we aren't to be trifled with. You didn't want it? I still have it, you see? I'm not sure if that was the optimal play though. I'm just happy I did it. Okay, anyway. It's not great to bounce it, so let's play like this. We don't have any 3 mana play, and HP will be important in this matchup. So I expect things like Arcanist, yeah, exactly, Croxa. So I think he really wants to bait the Fading Hope, but I'm sorry, Algarius, we aren't this kind of gamer. Yes, and this is the target that we like. Wow, I like this series. Like, it's extra lame, but I really like it. I have to buy those. I will cherish them to the bottom of my heart. Okay, this is a good card. It's not very much power though. Oh man, we are in pressured. We have some slowdown effects, and I really think that we need to start drawing like our draw cards. Or believe or not, Jace. It's our win condition, but in this situation,
you just don't know it.
Oh man, I don't want him to mill the 2 cards. I have to target myself. I'm not sure how Jace fits this deck, to be honest. It helps a bit, because we have things like a Flood of Recollection, but honestly that's not how it works overall. So it's more of a win condition because I had troubles closing the game. Sometimes you are forced to use the Epiphany defensively and then you are left with nothing. Okay, so the enemy wants to bait the Ritual. Oh, they really want to bait it. Let's play land, because in this deck we always really want to play lands, and we should definitely draw first. If we get like a basic land, we got wrecked. Wow, we got so wrecked, it's not even funny. Why? Because we need 6 mana to play our next turn. And I think we will cycle it, just for this reason. So, do we want to fade in Hoped? I think we do. So, they probably want Village Rites, because they left 1 black, so if we target it and they Village Rites, so maybe do it like this. I don't think it's good to do it on the end step, because it helps their game plan, and yep, they have something. Much better. So you can start making tokens, okay? Oh man, do we pay for our mistakes? Yep. Yep. So our mistake will cost us 3 life, because I played land first. Jace is actually crazy good this game. And the enemy has only 3 lands, which really sets them behind. So do we leave it? No, I will cycle. At this point every mana matters, and I wanted untapped land. But that's fine, we can still draw it. And just for the record, I don't want to mill myself. I have to mill myself, and that sucks. Oh, another thing that sucks is this. Maybe that was also a mistake. I'm not sure if we can play the formula, because we will get, well, yeah, we will get fossilized. Oh man, that's so bad. Yeah, and it cannot be discounted below 1. Okay, let's save our honor and pretend that was completely intentional. And we play around Village Rites. You can see that he always leaves it. Maybe it's a mistake and he does have 2 drops, but it seems awfully coincidental every single turn. Yeah, I think he expects the Ritual. He wants to bait the Ritual or the Monster, but we won't allow it. And we can bounce it at the attack phase, because it doesn't create tokens at the end step, nor during the turn, so he doesn't get value unless it attacks. And this is one of the type of gameplays that I really like. Enemy sees that we have a sweeper, and most control decks that don't have such a great player will sweep the board for 1 or 2 creatures, and they have full hand of things that they keep us from us. So they first go with two little threats, and we can endure it, and suddenly we have 6 mana and he didn't pressure at all, and now we sweep because he's forced to do something finally. So this is one of the situations when I really like to slow ball the enemy. Yep. Round is fine. Round is always good in this deck. Especially that we have Jace, that synergizes with Epiphany extremely well. But we need to be careful about decking out. At some point I would really like to start milling the enemy, but I'm scared. I don't have any graveyard clearing effect really. Yep, and we don't want to feed Croxa more than we have to. So, no, this one is important. So, paying. Maybe we can survive with Jace until we mill ourselves. That would be quite neat. So, I really want to keep the Jace, but I think we are forced to use the Epiphany, because in this situation it really helps us. Enemy as always has 1 black mana, so I think Village Rites is still on the table. And you also like Epiphany for additional lands that you play, so that's important. We can even maybe go to Ultimate Sunday. Good, 2 lands. And I need really to start playing the cards without like first draw cards before playing lands, because it hurt me so much. Okay, and this is great because we are able to divide by 0. So no birdies. Birdies are my friends right now. They are here and they are protecting their blue master. Village Rites? Yeah, we forced him to use it. Oh man, yep. So we don't want to like fight their card draw because we have better one. We want to fight their tempo on the board, especially Croxa. Like if they play Croxa and we cannot deal with it, that's extremely bad. And birds are very good versus the Pyromancer. They are forced to not attack it. Swamp is fine as well. Cool. I think enemy mishandled this game heavily, to be honest. And do we care for 1 damage? I don't really want to ult him. I would prefer Jace to be here until the end of the game. And he wants to get additional cards here. Yep. So everything that doesn't have haste and doesn't like give immediate threat is not a problem for us, because after they discovered the formula, things are much better. Wow. Okay, so we are starting to get off with everything, but we don't have big plays yet. Divide by 0 can be fine. So do we sweep the board? It seems like we have to, so no point in bouncing anything. Oh, that's a very good card. It gives away because our enemy already saw what cards can we use to get the graveyard back into the game. So let's start to not highlight it as much. So we go for a sweeper, it's 3 mana only, and then we are free to do anything. So I really think we go for discover the formula, and I will pay life without counting, because on camera I won't have enough time. Anyway, and yeah, I will mill myself. At some point we will need to be really careful, because we might start being on the end of the deck, and if they kill Jace, it's a good game. So, first things first, you got it, you finally got it, and I'm glad that we forced Village Rites before it. He got another, but that's fine. All we care is about the tempo, and this is one of the reasons Jace is here, because at some point we have trouble finishing the enemy, because like he will replay the board and our 4 ravens or even 6 ravens won't be enough to just kill him outright turn after turn, especially we have to use Epiphany defensively. So what we want to do is play this, is to get Jace. We don't have any discount at once. Yep, so you always want to get the cheapest one, obviously. So it's quite obvious what we are taking from the graveyard, for the discount. Okay, so the enemy I think is reading, maybe he didn't met this card, which is completely fine. Okay, and Just for you guys, because Baleful Mastery is 3 mana, but if you are extremely pressured, yep, you can always play it for 1 black mana. So for 1 black mana, exile target creature or planewalker. Wow, that's a good card. And most of the time, enemy, as you can see, has just a full hand. So it's not like we care, we play with ourselves most of the game, however it sounds. Because we just want to keep drawing, redrawing, and so on, so on, so on. Okay, so this gives it haste. So he really wants to fort size. And to this I say, no my friend, no my friend. And we can get teachings. I'm not sure if they will be useful, but if they aren't, it's good for us. So he probably replaces it, but it doesn't change anything, so maybe Heartless looting. Yeah, I think that's a better move from him. Even though it creates bigger hand, which is great for us. Okay, so we have 22 cards, 6 in hands, and the enemy has 5 with tapped out mana, so we can do everything we want. So I think... Oh man, that's hard, but let's keep drawing.
Always an answer.
No, not the Epiphany. I wanted you so much. So we still use Flood of Recollection. We had the third one. And probably before drawing I actually should use the teaching. That wasn't the best move ever. We have Fading Hopes though, so it's possible we use Lier. He's tapped out, so he cannot answer on instant. Okay, so let's give them more issues and more problems. And best thing is that if you, for example, mill yourself out of Epiphany, with Lier you can get it. It's not exiled because it was never played. Yep. And we have quite a bit of mana to do stuff. Yep. So you can see Jace on one hand. So this is interesting deck because it has a bit too many win conditions in a way. However, there are very strict win conditions. You have one additional card for Jace. It can carry the game. Like this game was nearly carried by Jace completely. So for everyone that was wondering if that's a good card, that would win us the game very quickly with 19 cards. And it got ultimate next turn, so if the enemy cannot answer it, that's amazing for us. And he actually couldn't answer it whole game. He tried to attack with Stitch's Supplier. And the main point, I think the enemy made a serious flaw in the game. When he saw the sweeper that we were using at the start, so he checked my hand and saw the ritual. And I think that was his mistake, because he tried to play it too slow. And this gave us time to keep it going, and when we keep going it doesn't matter how many cards he has. Like, look at this hand, look at all the options. However, we can sweep the board every single turn until we mill ourselves. So yeah, Epiphany, or the Fading Hopes, we have so many options that we can answer exactly every threat that the enemy can master, especially with 6 mana. So I think what they should be doing is just go into the sweeper and force it like 3 creatures that matter, and then go from there. They didn't, and they lost. Okay, so I would expect this deck to be Golgari Cat Owen, just because I just played one, and the Shuffler is fine. So the hand is pretty good. It's not amazing, but I think we will use both to get Seagate Restoration going. We could also use Ritual, but I think we need something more powerful, like sweeping the board is not enough for this deck. We will see. It might be something different, of course. My favorite pet is here as well, keeping me company. For a moment I thought the Serpentine is from the pet, but of course it isn't. So let's play it like this. Okay, and it seems to be some kind of... Oh, so auras. Okay, so we really need to start going with our great cards. So, blocker. So it's auras, I assume. I think they sometimes run Adanto just for control matchups. And for a good reason. This card is a pain, but we have a lot of bounce effects, so hopefully that will work out. Yep. Auras, here they go. So let's block because our life is premium in this matchup, because we are pretty much clocked with this. And we need to do something every turn. So the play will be this. And now we can think whether to discount the Discover. I think we should, because that's something that we will play anyway. So why not get it going as cheap as possible? And that's also a premium target for Recollection. I'm hesitant to not block because they usually have flying enchantment that draws them card, so we won't be able to block later. But I will risk for damage, because they seem to want us to trade, because they didn't play anything. Okay. Okay, I will do it. It hurts like hell. And also with Lier, that's amazing target. And they're both instant, so why would we bother? And this time I think I will block, because we are very likely to get some answers. Give me the answers. Anyway, and they don't seem to have much, which is extremely weird. I don't know what those cards are, but usually maybe they are saving all the auras for some core, so they can chain it. Okay, and first discover the formula, because it's a good card. We cannot go Silundi first because of the cost, so we need it discounted first. If they have counterspell, I got wrecked. They shouldn't, and like the you know, Merfolk Force Spike is the most I expect, so it's 2 mana. But they're thinking so hard, it makes me think that they have something. Yep. If they have to, that's obvious choice. Wow. Wow. Oh man. Oh man, that was interesting. And a very good choice by them. This card is crazy. So that's what they hold. However, they don't have much pressure on the board. So we need to do it like this. I'm sorry. Oh, it hurts. It hurts in the stomach. But my friend, I will get this, one way or another. And we can still get like Heartless Act or something like this, which arguably doesn't really help in this situation. And let's play while the enemy has half mana. Even if he has mana type, it's still just one. So cards were very good, but we need time to play them. A good part of this deck is that we don't fear so much extremely the card draw, because we can outvalue them hardcore if we get going. Okay, Lewis, who doesn't get anything. Okay, and that is very important what we do here. So I think we go double Forter. And we will go for the discount. And I think there's like a bug in Arena right now that it won't show how discounted our Epiphany is. So we need to actually remember, at least that's what I've noticed. So let's go for one. It's obvious what it is from the way we play. So let's Fortel one. Okay, so this one is the one discounted more. Okay, so the right one is the better one. How stupid is it? And I will make a stop just to show the enemy that we maybe have some 1 mana removal or something, like Fading Hope comes to mind. So they might expect Fading Hope, I hope. And it fades. Yeah, that was the joke. So anyway, what our plan is? Our plan is to go with the big A-Alrund Epiphany probably, play land, and yeah, nothing more. Then play A-Alrund Epiphany for the cheap one, and hopefully play Lier with something. I'm not sure if we can chain everything. Okay, 5 damage. I think we go for it. We need to draw a lot this time. And it won't get better than this, and it also denies them the draw. I probably should also stop the other turn. Now he knows that we don't have Fading Hope, but he already attacked, so there's something. Okay, and if we let the attack go through, this would be refarm. Right now it isn't, so yeah, that's what I played around. And serious decision, we can go either this and be sure that we hit both lands, or we can play it as a land, like a Silundi Vision, which can be great. So this one, how much does it cost? 6. 3, 6, so everything. How much did it cost? Everything. So I think we count for the Lier and the draw. Oh man, that's a choice. That's actually a choice. And we have Sweeper in the end, so maybe we have more time with... yeah, I think we have some time. So let's play land, even if it wrecks a bit. Because, oh, and this is one of the reasons this card is in the game. We probably use it. We could clear the board. This could be even better. We could, but anyway, let's play the thing. And we can use student cost only for this. So I think we let them grow a lot. They don't have trample ever. The dock that makes him indestructibility will be a problem, but we will play around it somehow. And we keep this. So, let's attack. Yep. Enemy just went for a coffee because he knows that he won't be playing for a while. And I think Silundi Vision is better this turn. We still get another turn, don't forget. Okay, Epiphany is very good here. And I think we get Epiphany. This arguably could be different decision, so if you think that was extremely bad, that's possible. And HPI is actually very important, even for the enemy, because that like Adanto relies on his HP total. So this is the last turn play. Unfortunately, we got wrecked by new Epiphany, so no birds, but I still think it's worth it. And we develop every turn, and the more mana with Lier we have, the better. So let's go for the obvious choice. It must be super fun to play against our deck. And this is one of the reasons that we really... yeah, I'm not surprised. This is one of the reasons first that why Lier is here, because he has amazing synergy with whole deck, because you can pretty much work through first cycle of the cards, and they usually aren't very easy to cast with, you know, all the steep mana cost. For example, 6 was a lot. However, when you get everything discounted and you keep going and then you lack cards, you can replay all of this value for reduced mana values, and suddenly you have insane swing in the tempo. So you can see it was 6 mana So originally this cost 6 mana, and we already have Lier with this, and it discounts the rest as well, so we even get like a 0 cost on everything. If we discount 5 cards with this is -5, and we paid 6 for it. So effectively it cost us 1 mana to do all of this, which is extremely fun. And Baleful Mastery is great. It can exile things like this, and giants like Croxa, things like this. But it also can be played for student cost if you really need to. And 1 card draw is not much in this deck. Like enemy, if he has additional card and we get to live the full turn, we can get like 10-15 cards thanks to this, so it's worth it. Alright, so this hand is pretty good. We have a little bit of everything, and we have some big plays of like divide by 0 and divide the formula. We only lack the discount mechanism, but we have a lot, so let's not rant after having such a good hand. It doesn't mean we win, because it's some kind of lose deck, so it will be oh my god. So that will be probably either a Cat Owen deck, or maybe this weird Bolas Citadel one. So we will see. We could kill the goose, but I think we will have better targets than this. And the goose is one-time ramp. It's good for the food production though, because they have a lot of synergy around it. Oh my god, I hate it so much. So what's the plan? I think the plan is to stay alive and try to outscale them. Fun as it sounds. Okay, and we will have divide by 0, so that's something. However, they emptied their hand pretty fast. So yeah, teaching of Archaic won't be so great, so that's the main idea. We can force them to use the food, and I think we will. It's not the perfect move, but we want to divide by 0 anyway, and that gives us some time at least. So I don't think teachings will be particularly useful. Let's go for the science. But it's getting higher. It will be so hard to wait until 6 mana. So that's the issue with this card. Oh, and we changed their play. And I think that's good for us. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this one stays as a spell. And this can be part of how we come back, so we play this, then maybe we play this and hope for the best. But this deck will keep going very shortly. This divide by 0 was great, I think. So, probably we use the science. Let's go still for blue. We don't need much black, especially in this matchup. So I think getting Hall of the Giants going is fine. They will replay the trail, so we don't expect big creature next turn. I hope. But you can see how painful it is to wait for the full cost for this one. Especially that we don't have any place. Like divide by 0 was great, but we just need a bit more. And we have high amount of cards in the hand, so we cannot use teachings. Especially this deck is full 1-drops and 2-drops, obviously. Okay, but we are still going there. Oh my god, this turn is completely dead. Oh man. That went from very good to very extremely slow very fast. So Heartless Act might be good. We need to survive 2 turns, and we just have to go with the deck. So we really need to slow everything that deals damage. And the enemy is starting to go crazy as well. Oh man, I'm so glad we at least slowed it by 1 turn. Oh, and here comes the Squealer. Oh, I hate you, Squealer. We cannot kill it very well. So let's hope that it won't be played, because it gets counters. and they can sacrifice a lot in response. So what they can do, they can sacrifice artifact or creature. Okay, so yeah. However, if they used OM to answer, then it should be fine. But if we just use Heartless Act, they just sacrifice like a plant or something, and it gets counter, and then Heartless Act doesn't work. Oh my god, that's the slowest draw I've had ever with this deck. And Squirrel will time us very quickly. We could divide by 0, but then we don't do anything, and that's not acceptable. We already are behind on the tempo extremely much. So my big hope for this game is that the enemy will overdraw. So okay, here comes the hook, and if they miss 1 or 2 turns, maybe we can start recovering the tempo with the Discover the Formulas. And good thing is that we never missed a land drop, so all in all we have at least more mana every turn, and the enemy is at 4, 5 with the goose. But yeah, that's all. And here comes the cat, the ultimate doom of every person in Historic. Okay, if he attacks for 2, I'm super happy. Like, we just need few turns to live. Ooh, that's interesting decision, but we cannot really punish it. We need to use Formula this turn. Okay, 4 damage, that wasn't the worst. And we can start to finally play the game. Okay, that's a good start. However, can we kill it? Yes, we can, and we can do it before the Massacre even. Okay, let's use our Shiny Brain, and we can discount it to 2, which is amazing. It is amazing. So he even got rid of the Owen, so they cannot sacrifice anything in response. So you can see, after we played the first formula, everything starts to look much better. Much better. Okay, and that's good. So now we need to endure big turn from the enemy, but that's fine. Probably we get rid of 1 Seagate Restoration. We can always take it back if we really want to. But I don't want to miss the land, ever. Ever. I don't even see what the enemy is doing, but it was all the end step. So 2 cards. First is very simple. The second one though is harder. I want to make sure that I hit the land. Like, lands in this deck are always a must. You have to get as many as possible. I think 1 flute is enough, because it's in a way a draw function. So obviously we don't, well, we need the draw, but we can manage without it. Okay, and this turn is scary, because we are only at 14. I don't think they can kill us. I'm pretty sure they can't, but we need to answer the board very seriously after this turn. Like, the amount of lands they have and tempo is the only saving grace for us, and in a way we want to out-tempo them, funny as it sounds. But you can see it's a lot of passive damage every turn and infinite card draw pretty much. So we need to go for tempo. We cannot outvalue this deck, which is funny for Golgari. But yeah, that's the world we live in. Okay, land first. We have 8 mana, and we really need to make it count. So we could go for the Seagate Restoration, in which case playing the land would be a big mistake. I think double Heartless Act can be fine. I really think we should draw. I hope for a lot of good discounted cards. Okay. That was good. That was good. So I think I don't want to tap out completely though. Can we survive another turn? That's super scary. Oh my god, so many decisions. I would really like to have a blocker. But they have Fatal Push probably. Maybe even that's why the mana is left. So this can remove a lot of counters. So that's something, but it's not very good. We have 3 mana, so I actually think we cannot Forter Epiphany, which kind of sucks. We will discount it, just because we will play it, as we are forced to. And I think we have to discard. I want to keep the surprise factor. Yep. Okay, and let's actually think. Can the enemy make more things? He doesn't have mana to sacrifice here. This one is tapped. I think he made a small mistake, and we can punish it. Yep, that was a very... I think that was a very good play by us, because the Squirrel is the big issue for this game. No counters. Let's try to kill it. Maybe he has something, but like if it's Village Rites or something. Oh, I'm so freaking dumb. Of course, Cat just does it for 0 mana. Yep, that was an oopsie. And well played by the enemy. Oh, yeah, I should know it. Still, we forced at least 3 counters less, but that's far from what we needed. I still think we get another turn, so there are some options. I hate this deck so much, but that was a big misplay on our part. Are we dead? Yep. I think we are dead, so it's 4, yeah, and he can double Owen. But that's fine, that was a game-losing play. And yeah, they always have Fatal Push, because most of the game you don't really play anything. So moment they see a creature, they usually stack all the answers. It was a good game though.